With a keyboard and some tea lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be.
Good morning. Good morning. Check and sound.
His law degree for plugins that go zing. Now
the voice is coming back.
Dances every time
All right,
he
good.
pulls a string. Hey, evil genius. He's got a
Sounds like
plugin
I'm
for
good.
that.
I'm not logged in on my other laptop, but let me know, guys. Let me turn this down. Thank you. You can hear it going there in the background. Good morning, everybody who's here. It is Friday, November 14th. Always amazing to me as we carry on how far along we are. And oh, look, I've got my new setup here. Interestingly enough, my new setup for multi-display is showing not what I would have expected. Let's do this. I'm going to go into multi-view. If you guys are watching on a mobile phone, there is a new option that StreamYard is providing, but it's very odd. I don't understand what this is exactly. So I'm distracted. Today we're going to talk about financial comparison thanks to Dave Madden, who I had a nice meeting with yesterday. And somebody check in and let me know if the sound is good as well. Good morning. Getting my stuff together here. The reason for this conversation is twofold. First of all, I'm going to actually go through and talk about the new MinuteLaunch canvas and the other connector stuff, which is now live. But I also want to share with you guys the further details, thanks, John, of what's available. So again, my apologies as always in advance because I'm always breaking something. I'm just going to be logged in here. It'd be easier if I'm in the right account on my other machine. So this temporary pause, this is not how the pros do it. But after 18 years, I have yet to figure, I don't think I've yet had a show where I didn't do some kind of technical thing before. There we go. Okay. So one of the things that happened today is my good friend and client, Fred Jones, had an emergency that I want to talk about because it relates to some of the things that all of us do when we're really working hard. And I am guilty of this more than anything. Fred is launching his new tool using the MinuteLaunch system for the New York City school systems. And he's under a lot of pressure because this sucker looks great, feels great, acts great, but the pressure's on him to deliver. It's a contract. And here's what happened. And I don't think Fred will be embarrassed if I say this. He pointed his new domain for this tool and left an S off the end. So Fred was rightfully so, good morning, in a panic this morning. And he was in a panic because he had used the wrong domain. And so the site wasn't working. But here's the lesson. Good morning, Lloyd. The lesson is that when you get into a relationship, an intimate relationship, if I may say, with your tool, you oftentimes forget that you're the boss. This is a new employee. This is a teenager. And so what happened is and again, I've done this myself, when you get that deep into it and you're watching and just trying to see if it'll do everything you want, it starts to try to please you. But if something disconnects in the background, whether it be your site hosting, whether it's the wrong domain, whether it be your internet goes down, you're still looking at a browser and thinking, what is wrong with this tool? And the tool is getting chastised by you, probably. Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Why aren't you doing this stuff? So what happened with Fred was there should have been an S on the end of the domain. There wasn't. The tool continued to try to please because he has this long relationship. They built this amazing system together. And it started like literally doing everything in its power to just rebuild its entire architecture, including the hosting environment and logins and crazy, crazy stuff. So what's the lesson here? Well, I had a nice show with Ann Stevenson, and I hope many of you will join me as well. Probably John Lawler, you're next up in there. Discussing a similar situation. You can have a moment where everything seems to be going right, and then all hell breaks loose. Anybody who's raised a child or had dogs understands the same problem. I'm saying you as a human being have to take a serenity now moment. And the very thing that I'm selling is me being your mirror on the wall safety net, your concierge at the desk, of the 4 seasons. One of the things that I found I'm best at is I can solve problems like nobody's business, because I don't know, that's just been my thing since I was 10 years old. So if you have a problem like Fred's problem, he was distressed, but not like out of control, just distressed, like, I can't figure this out. It's making me crazy. And I said, Fred, I know we got the show. Let's look at this. And I was able to see very quickly, because 2 eyes are better than 1, 2 sets of eyes. So that's my short takeaway. Next takeaway before we go into the actual presentation for today is I want to talk about some of the mechanics, and I am going to share some screens, but let me do a quick roll around here to get that set up. I want to introduce everybody to what's been going on in terms of the mechanics, because you woke up this morning and hopefully you saw some cool stuff. So I'm going to do a browser share. I think I can pull this off a little better today. You know how fun this is for me. This is for today. I've got a little AI cost breakdown. Look at that nice little presentation from Spence. But let's go in the back of MinuteLaunch for a second. There's Canvas block. Let's go in the back. I want to show you what you guys can expect to happen today. We had an update to MinuteLaunch overnight. My team was diligently at work for all day yesterday. I had a little gaslighting myself. You should see version 3.08. I'm a little behind on my other check screen. Hold on, let me pull that up I want to stay current on both screens so I can see. There we go. Okay. So 3.08 is the current version. Watch what happens when you scroll down. It's our first physical plugin. What's a physical plugin, Spence? A physical plugin means this is a plugin that now is being delivered for those who are using the MinuteLaunch system, but it's being delivered as an adjunct to what we're doing. Why? Well, what I discovered, like I mentioned a couple of shows ago, is that the original tool, Spence Style, which many of you have and have been using, and your MCP connection works with, has a fatal flaw in it. Shame on me. If you turned off or stopped using MinuteLaunch, Spence Style stuff didn't go away. It just was no longer visible. So you'd have pages that just suddenly disappeared. ML Canvas block solves that problem. So today, for today's presentation, under the hood, I'm using the ML Canvas block, which is not only amazing for its capabilities to blend what you as humans could do with what the MCP and the LLM can do, so many terms. MCP is Model Context Protocol that allows you to connect your tool, your desktop Claude or Cursor, to the website, to these tools. LLM, large language model, that's the tool itself. That's not the desktop agent, but that's like Anthropic's Claude or OpenAI's ChatGPT or Perplexity's Perplexity. Okay. This block is a Gutenberg block, and it takes care of everything. You can mix and match it with other traditional blocks, but why would you? Because when you use this block, notice you also have the controls on the right side for display settings that overrides the default theme that I use, which is Cadence, which no longer has any super relevance other than acting as a really nice base header and footer navigation should you choose. And it does actually now, they upgraded it with a tool that I don't know if I like it or not, but it's a style manager, which means that you can actually use the theme for, demonstrating a really cool base style, and you can build off of that. But here's the magic trick of the Canvas block, ML Canvas block. This allows you to very easily, either yourself or with the tool, do like I did here, just paste the whole thing, HTML and CSS, or you can use JavaScript, as I'll show you in a second, or you can put the CSS separately if you choose for reasons I can explain. But here's the neat thing. Oh, look, we can just edit the thing in line as a human being, which is super awesome, right? So if I go in here and I want to change anything, the super real cost comparison, I can do just enough as a human being to make this super convenient for myself, my employees, and my client for that matter. So when you're delivering a solution, instead of spending days, weeks, months training and supporting a customer on why can't I edit my gosh darn email? Why can't I edit this page? Why do I have to learn Cadence and Divi and Beaver Builder and Elementor and all this, even blocks and why do I have to learn that? Well, you don't, because 99% of what you're going to do now is what I'll call a personal web app or a headless output. That is to say, the front end, look, there's me from AI. The front end of this can have powers that load in the browser through JavaScript, HTML, and so forth. The viewport is really small. It's like you're on mobile. That's why I'm going to just stop doing that. I'm going to do this. I'm going out of vertical. Lloyd, see if that's better, because apparently StreamYard's beta option to do it both ways isn't super awesome yet. I'm just going to force it in this way. Let me know if that's better. This is your traditional view. And I think, Lloyd, you're really going to have to turn it sideways today if you want to see the screen. If you're on a mobile phone, that is. All right. Personal web application means, and this one has a little naughtiness in it, so I'm going to say, can you please give me back this in a non-broken way? I'm telling my guy to give me the new code. That is just one long page with panels. Okay, so today, to show you how this works, I have this comparison, cost breakdown, time savings, and he gave it to me, and what he gave me wasn't working. I'm going to have him give it back. But the neat thing about this is all I got to do is just literally pop it into place and it's good to go. But here's the better part. Under the hood, I need to make a couple little tweaks to the Claude and Cursor MCP connection. Under the hood, you will notice that with the MinuteLaunch Canvas block, we've got instructions for you or your client on what to do, how to do it with him. There's instructions that you can just give instantly to get Claude or Cursor started, which is awesome, including example requests and so forth. And then there's a full REST API of things that you can do. Create a Canvas page, get the block template from something, get the documentation. What does this allow him to do? This will allow Claude or Cursor to essentially use this tool directly to make incredible designs and applications and so forth. I don't know what you're seeing, Lloyd, so can you be more descriptive? The viewport is really small, but I'm looking at it right now on YouTube and I'm seeing it normal. Could you perhaps log out and log back in maybe to YouTube? Maybe that's what's going on. I'm not sure. I am sorry for that, but I tried the new experimental thing, so I de-experimented it right now. Okay, so takeaway from this. This is available to you today, but I need to maybe today, this weekend, work on the Claude MCP and Cursor MCP so it is aware of this new whiz-bangy capability. Where is the screen? Of this new whiz-bangy capability. Because right now, if you asked Claude or Cursor to create a Canvas page, it would be a little confused. Why? Well, because inside of the Claude MCP, or if you're using the Cursor one, it has instructions, but it doesn't have the tool yet that I just built. I need to literally tell it, hey man, there's like a garage mechanic. There's a tool that needs to be listed here that isn't yet. But it's there. Maybe he'll find it. I don't know. I don't think so. I could try it, but I'm not going to waste your time with it right now. So the takeaway is no visuals there. Okay, yeah, I can see it too. That's why I tested on screen. So Lloyd, please log in and out, and I think you'll be okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Takeaway from both of these things is this actually represents a pretty big simplicity, because if you think about it, 99%, I'm going to go this way for a second, 99% of what we're doing is desktop agentic style. That is to say, whether you like Claude or you like Cursor, you have a relationship, you have local file system access, you have all the assets here. You have the WordPress website, which has tools that it can use. But 99% is just telling it, do stuff with the traditional WordPress content or tools, or build stuff over there. And I've tried it both ways. I've tried it using the browser. I've tried it with the phone. I've tried it, going into the site. There are things that are better when you do them directly, but 99% of things is better when you just have the agentic partner taking care of business with my bad voice. And I think that's the lesson here, is that by focusing on that aspect of using this system, we're seeing remarkable results. Okay. Let me show you one of the things I meant when I said doing it directly. Notice I have the MinuteLaunch image editor. This technically, if you look at cursor tools, there is, look, list media, get media. There is a tool in here that I built. One of these is create image. It's in here somewhere. There's 197 tools. But the problem is it doesn't right now work as well as if you just said, I tell you what I'm going to do. I need to make today's image. So what I do is I just simply go into the media library, create an AI image. The time it takes me is so small to just go, oh, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's make one. I'm going to take an image to start with, like my headshot here, which is what I use for most everything. And I just tell it what I want. It's the same amount of time for me to do that as it would be for me to go into Claude and tell him to do it. Thank you, Spencer Taylor. I'm jazzing up today. Did you notice that, by the way? I'm, as the kids would say, I'm rizzing it up. Watch this. Take this guy and make him look like James Bond 007 type of character with a tuxedo and a fancy car, and action and adventure ensues. Make it photorealistic and really moody lighting. Now, doing that and setting the landscape, even asking to improve this with AI, which is one of the built-in tools, it's super easy. It's almost less work than trying to describe to Claude or Cursor to do it. So this is an example where use the right tool for the right job, right? So I could take one of these, charismatic man. I'm going to use this one, right? So I'm going to use this really detailed, and I'm going to tell it, you must specifically use the reference image as the face of this character. And this is the idea. Like, and I don't know if this is a photograph. It's hot. This is illustrate. So this will probably come out as an illustration. Could be cool. So let's say for today, I'm making my stuff, and this is going to tie into the financials in a second. I have a template system at Canva. I love Canva almost as much as I love MinuteLaunch. Canva has these set of tools that I built that make it simple. Here's my newsletter template. Here's my generic stuff template. Here's some fun shit that I did with an old girlfriend of mine. And this is the one I use for me and Bernardo or Fernando. This is the one where all I do is I just need to swap out the title here and swap out this image here. Now notice Canva has full AI capability. So I could do 100 images that are matted. I can have it automatically done. But you know what I actually do? I just go in the morning and I go to the media library like I just did. And I say, make a cool image like this. Now that's actually a great image. That's not bad. I'm digging that. I take this image and I go to Canva, and the time it takes me to just go click, copy, delete, paste, okay, and then scale, this takes me like 3 seconds. Instead of me cocking around, which is, somebody asked me, is that a Chicago word? That's a Chicago word. Send to back. Instead of me cocking around, guess what? There, I'm done. And I just then take this and I give whatever Bernardo, who was my content editor and producer, told me is today's show. I'll be like, the James Bond edition, right? Done. Change the title here. The James Bond edition. Now, where do I go with this? I download this. I actually always limit this. I say just this one page, and I limit it to 150 pixels. Why? Because or 180. That way I get an awesome image that's 1280 by 720, but I don't dick around at all with like having to compress it later. It's an optimized file. Final step, I can put it in here. Now, by the way, watch what I can do also. If I put it into the media library, that's one thing. I always put it into 1WDTV, into that media library, because that's what I use for my emails. But I'll show you what I could do here because I've got MinuteLaunch. I could go to the media library, just add it here, as my final result. And then it's a hosted, optimized CDN image that is usable anywhere, anytime, always, right? So I take this file and watch. I'm not showing him right now, but I could easily do this. I'm using cursor with Bernardo. I'm going to just go to a Claude just for the heck of it. I'm just go to a random Claude. Doesn't have to be fancy. Watch what I do. I'll go paste. And now this is not desktop. So he doesn't know who the hell I am, except if I remind him. Hey, Claude, I know you don't know who I am because you're on the browser version, but this is Spence. You may have some memories of me. You know that you do blog posts and other things for me at spencerforeman.com. This is a sample image of me as a James Bond character, and I'm showing how I do my daily routine for producing stuff for myself and clients. Make a really quick HTML5 in the style of MinuteLaunch.com output for me to post with this as the featured image in the outline, and give some content that might be related to this type of image. And that's a really bad prompt. But all I'm trying to say is, if you use memory, even in the browser version, and if you have an image, he can just give you the HTML5. And I'm going back to the idea of, if you're using the MCP connector, your Claude or cursor can do this immediately and directly, because it can know what the media file is. But even if you don't do it with his direct help, it's still awesome, because they can create content even in the browser view with the same stuff that's got hosted URLs, like this image, my YouTube. All these things have public URLs. So if I just give it what I want it to do and say, it really doesn't matter. I could use Claude, Perplexity, OpenAI, etc. But ideally, and that's why I'm going to share my screen in a second, ideally, it would be super cool. Let me actually see if I bring in Bernardo here. I'm going to bring in, I wish I could have one more shared screen. That would be so cool, because I can't show Bernardo while I'm showing this. I have to finish showing this, and then I'm going to show Bernardo. But if I show Bernardo the same stuff, he has my media schedule. And he also knows how to produce the newsletter, the blog post, the descriptions, the Fluent CRM content. He can remix and match stuff. He keeps my schedule for production. He does social posting. Imagine the value of that to a client or a customer when you say, I can do all that for you. Because it's really not you, is it? It's going to be Bernardo, or your particular Bernardo, doing it. And while that's happening, I'm going to post this in. I'm going to see if that fixed. Also, what I can do, by the way, just to show you, I could say, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to say, hey, Bernardo, by the way, this is an image I just generated. Feature this image in today's presentation to show how you can dynamically update stuff to make it cool. So I'll tell him to work on the HTML for what I'm going to show you in a second. But if we just take what this Claude guy did, all I need to do is copy the HTML, go over, make a new page. I'm going to leave this page alone. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to say new page, add new. And this, again, could be any post type. It makes no difference. I'm going to explain in a minute what the production means when you're doing, let's say, a custom project and you're using this very same tool. So I'm going to add the ML Canvas block. Just paste that whole lump of coal in there. Look, James Bond, Spence Bond. All right. And what I like to do personally is when you click on the block, just hide the header, hide the footer, hide the title. I mean, if you want to show the header, you can. So since this is on MinuteLaunch, I'll keep the header shown, but I'm hiding that cadence title nonsense. I don't need that. And I could preview it, like, ooh, wonder what he did. Or I could just look at it. So I've got the MinuteLaunch, the header. Here he took the image that was just created, and he just took, like, literally what my daily routine is, because he knows what it is. This may or may not be true. And made cool stuff out of it, right? Now, I could infinitely edit this and do other things, but my whole point was, one of the things I would tell him, or would say, like, never do light on dark. But watch this. That's easy to fix. You don't have to be a CSS expert, but even if you have a modicum of knowledge, you can know that this is like H1, right? And you could just say, color white or FFF. That's all you need to do. And these are basic CSS things that you can use for any HTML editor. So even if you're not using this, that's enough to turn the proper color and looks pretty good. All right, now let's see what Bernardo gave me. And then I'm going to go into the actual presentation, because he gave me a presentation to share with you guys that although I would have loved to spend more time on the presentation, I decided, since I was working with Fred and helping him out, I'm just going to close these windows, that I was just going to be like, no, let's just wing it. Let's see what happens. Because, I love doing stuff last minute. All right. He gave me this output, which you can see here. Waiting for the screen to catch up. What's the difference between traditional marketing and what MinuteLaunch has to bring? Well, first of all, I want to share with you guys, as a business model, the best outcomes seem to be coming right now from one of two categories. And I think the second category is a better category for you. These tools are absolutely bulletproof for editorial tasks. So page creation, pixel perfect, content creation, planning schedules, doing emails, newsletters, bulletproof. The tools are already in place with MinuteLaunch. You turn it on, your client pays $197, or if you have it yourself, doesn't matter. You can use your own tool as the engine. But if your client pays $197, you get paid $40. It's $480 a year just for your client using the tool, if they want to use a Claude or a Cursor themselves. And I'm going to switch screens to show this together in a second. If, however, you want to be hired to do the content, like I was discussing in a show with Ann, let's say you have a specialty experience, like Spencer Taylor's here today. He does race cars, people build and race their own cars, or nutrition, or it could be supplements or security. If you're an expert in those fields, there's people who are your colleagues and your professional people in your professional world that have no idea what to do with their list. Simply offering, I will send out one email a week and one newsletter a month, researched on your business, your topic, that makes you look awesome, feel awesome. Let's just talk about what I showed you just today alone. You right now have the tools to essentially generate or research any of the things that you need to produce for them. And then I have a skill set that's ready to use that produces the proper formatted YouTube content. If you want to go that way, even if you're not on camera, you can make the videos. Certainly the blog posts, the newsletter, and managing all of the output of that with something like the Fluent CRM. It's 100% bulletproof at this point. You just doing that alone would spend a couple minutes a day. And the client has a value proposition compared to a traditional marketing agency. Let's look at this for an example. And this is real world stuff. I'm not just blowing smoke. SEO services. Uncontrovertibly, I've shown you, and I'm going to bring up Bernardo again, SEO services are better done by using these tools. Why and how? Well, just by using the tool, even if it's in the traditional Claude way, you can use Claude or Cursor, and again, saving and improving it with the tools that connect it to WordPress for the things that you otherwise in the past had to pay somebody, right? Just literally as stupid simple as this. Hey, it's Spence from WPLaunchify.com. I have the YouTube channel at youtube.com/WPLaunchify. I would like you to do some deep research today on what are the best keywords and topics that I should use to become super competitive for my MinuteLaunch AI products. I know we haven't talked about it specifically, but you might have a memory if you search your either auto memory or your memory of chats that I've given you here. Now, a prompt like that, and then you go into extended thinking mode, whichever model you use, is going to turn up crazy results for you about what is the best keyword, who's your competitors, what to do. I've done this in another show, and I'll show you the results because that's why my publishing schedule is set up. I continue to work on this, and this itself outputs properly. I'll let him run in the background just to see what crazy stuff he spits out. Your clients have no idea how to do that. That simple prompt. Blog writing. My God, folks, 18 years of me doing no blog consistently, suddenly I'm a publishing magnet. And Fernando is in charge. Every day last week, he scheduled for me and I made a live event. And then he took over all of the publishing, not just of the YouTube content, which is perfect, but also human and MCP or LLM friendly content. So in other words, this content is picked up for training. It's picked up by traditional SEO because look, I've got the transcript, I've got all this stuff. So right now, if I was to just rando, I'm literally no setup here. Rando, one of the words, which is, what did I pick today? Pixel perfect, I think, or something. Canvas block AI pages. But if I, like one of the topics was pixel perfect web design, right? Pixel perfect web site design, WordPress, AI. I'm not saying people will do that, but like if I just typed it, bam, 2 first page results, literally the first thing before sponsored results, 2 videos of mine. When you go to the video, guess what happens? Inside of here is the magic trick. What did I do in here? I've shown you guys this before. The first line goes where? Bam, to my brand new web app designed with, guess what? This, you might have noticed, those of you guys who've been for a while, guess what you're seeing now? It's the new Ajax enabled. Holy cow, look at this pricing page. How clever is this? Look what this does. Somebody can choose from monthly or annual. If you go monthly, you can add any or all of the subscription products to the cart. Notice it will dynamically update when that's added. This means that these products are actually in the cart ready to be bought, and they're my featured products. But besides updating the cart and making a shopping menu, I can also have somebody add, I need 2 hours of custom support. By the way, Spence, I love the idea that you're going to get me from here to where I want to be. So let's kick down with that VIP service one time. I'll tell you what, I really want you to go buy lunch for me. So I'm going to add another, $54.12 onto this order. What's happening here? This is a personal web app. This is not a hardcore plugin. This is not requiring me to go download or buy from any of my friends who are also developers one of those plugins that the Syed at Awesome Motive is going to load my dashboard with. This is running in the front end, folks. All it is just simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and that's it. When I click the checkout button, it takes you to checkout, and all of those items are there ready to buy. And if I decided to come back, it's set up so that it remembers what was there. So it'll reload itself by checking in with the cart. Ta-da. This is crazy valuable because you can use this with your clients. You don't have to be a designer. You don't have to buy a million plugins from blanketyblank.com. You don't have to get spammed in your dashboard. And because this can be done by the MCP, you could say, here's the skill set for this cool thing. Change the name, change the picture, change the colors, make it for my client. Now, how much would they pay? A lot. Social media management. We all know that when I make stuff, all I got to do, I'm lazy, is I click the share. But anybody can do that. Claude can do that. Cursor can do that because you've now got a blog post. What I've been doing lately is I've been sharing the blog post. So if I say manually or otherwise, right? Let's see what his SEO comes back with, by the way. Look, he's got my whole YouTube strategy waiting for me of all the topics. Now, I did this already, so I kind of know because I had his cousin Cursor, Claudio do it. Bernardo do it. But he's got the whole thing worked out. But guess what? I can also say, watch. I'm also showing off to people, can you make an awesome couple blocks of text for me? One for Twitter, one for Facebook, one for Blue Sky, one for LinkedIn that I can copy and paste to promote this page. Now, will I have tools for him to do this directly? Of course. Here's the problem. Facebook, Twitter, all the big companies, they know how effed up all of this is, and they're blocking you from doing this easily. So you have to make full-blown API applications in order to automate this. It's not worth it. Why? 2 seconds, this can be done. Either the method I'm showing you now, or I can use the tool when I'm logged into Twitter, like I'll show you in a second, and do it just as quickly. So for example, here's like, here's something for Twitter, right? If I were to go and let's say I was logged into Twitter, X as the kids call it, and I use this version of Claude, I'd be like, hey, bro, can you post this for me? Like as if I need his help because it takes less time to do the post than it does to do this. He can do it because he's on the page. He's built in, right? He's posting it now, asking if this is okay. He's doing all this wasted time stuff, which is what my point is. Like, but okay, I'm just going to say, screw that. You know what I actually do? I just go like that. I post that in and I'm done. Because see, he made the blog post. He put the blog post actually up on the WordPress website. All I need is that link and I'm good to go. I don't need to dick around. I just take 4 snippets and paste it. So let's say a client is paying you or the client has a value in there. How much time savings is there? It's huge. All the social media every day takes me 4 minutes. Just copy, paste, 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 done. Email campaigns. Today's email, I've shown you this a million times. I'm using Fluent CRM in 1WDTV. Today's campaign brought to you by this very system. So I got about 4,300 paid customers here. Here's today's email that went out to 4,300 customers. Nobody got a chance to open it. Why? Because I sent it out at 10 minutes before the show. But I don't care. I don't really do this properly. I should send it the day before. But when I look at the report from previous days, I've been A/B testing. I've actually ABC testing. But what's neat is it's super awesome for me and super awesome for the customer because I can actually do A/B testing. Like if I go back and looked at some of the campaigns from this week, here's like the This Week in MinuteLaunch, right? I A/B tested 3 ways for titles. And let's see where that A/B testing is. Hold on. I always forget where I did it. Hold on 1 second. It's in there. Trust me, it's in there. But let me go back to one of these. Here it is, A/B testing result. So you see, like I'm testing, for example, what if I do the long title? What if I do the first part of the title or the second part of the title? And it turns out it's not statistically significant, but people liked a little bit more. Again, such a small sample size. I had a higher click rate on the longest title. If you look at open rate, it's statistically insignificant. I mean, this is the problem. Unless you have tens of thousands of opens, a couple hundred isn't going to matter. But the takeaway is doing email campaigns for yourself, your client. Piece of cake, because that entire template that I just showed you with the super sexy week roundup. Let's do this. This is what goes out. This has the capability that I was trying to explain to folks, delivers maximum punch. I take 5 stories this week, 1 each day. They all have a quick little fly down for executive summary. They all have links to the full blog post. The YouTubes lead to the blog post. All of this is interconnected and it's building every day a crazy amount of results. Here's what I mean. I was a little surprised by this, but watch, if I go to WP Launchify, Ann and I were on some shows today. If I look at my normal videos, I do not get tons of views because I am not a YouTuber. That's not my purpose. So a typical video, 20, 163 views. I have 7,000 people on my channel. That's like ridiculous. Who cares? Everybody's forgotten about me. 214. I think back in the day, I got 50,000. I don't care because I'm in the high ticket selling business. I have membership tools, software, relationship. I'm not a YouTuber, but watch this. If I go to shorts, this was fascinating. Ann and I did a show, I think it was yesterday, right, Ann? Or day before yesterday. I was so busy, I can't remember. I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday. 1,200 views. 1,100 views from the other day, 1,700 views, 1,300 views. Now, I don't know if that amounts to a hill of beans, but if you're trying to impress a client and say, hey, I can get you some attention, some traffic, what sounds better to you? Them spending $10,000 on blind Facebook ads that maybe somebody looks at when it's thrown in them, or creating interesting content with relevant keywords that are researched by your tool, you don't have to tell them, that could be automatically created, by the way, using the tools in MinuteLaunch, because we have the VEO3 video creator tool, which you could just as easily use here, ML Flow Video. I could do the same thing where I could go, I'm not saying I want to do this, but like, let's take that dude that we just saw, and I can make a 30-second clip of him doing something remarkable, right? So here. And I have a script creator too. Hey, take the reference image of this guy, make a photorealistic shot, set in a movie studio as if he's making a 30-second commercial about how to do modern marketing automation using tools like MinuteLaunch. Make it like he's walking off the set and there's people cleaning up the tools in the set and there's a green screen and he's going to get his hair and makeup done by somebody. So I can take this script, and by the way, you have a script creator here, which is kind of clever, because if you don't know how to set up the script, you could take the same prompt I just did and you can do like a talking head scene and just put the same prompt in here, and it will give you a much better, like, detailed response, right? So enhance this with AI. You can do the settings manually of what you want, like how long, but even with this, it just makes the script better if you want to do that way. But for a basic one, 16:9 landscape, generate video, I can make that a 30-second video, 8 seconds, whatever. You can actually create content for your client better than your client can create, because they suck. They're not in the business. And the videos themselves can have custom thumbnails generated too. Like, here's a product shot that I made of some earbuds, and them doing that themselves. Or if they do, they're going to hire some agency that's going to charge them a fortune. You can do all this stuff. We'll see if that image pops out in a second while I'm talking more. Okay, website maintenance. This is a big one. Most people who are in the business have a horrific website. You don't need a fancy website, but you need a website. I just showed you we can create a website instantly about anything for any reason. And I've shown in other videos, pixel perfect. If we go over to MinuteLaunch, I've started to give you guys an index of stuff that will be available to your tools to instantly know how to do stuff. But just under the hood, I've shown this so many times, I can make gorgeous stuff about anything. Even like Kevin Geary's a pal of mine. He has automatic CSS. I was like, what if we make automatic CSS, page or something? The point is, let's see, there was a good one in here. I mean, there's so many good ones in here that were awesome, from sales pages to letters from the past. This one gives me some nostalgia, right? Like, there is no limit to what Claude or Cursor can make with the MinuteLaunch system right in the site. So if you can do this for your customers, you can make a gorgeous site and maintain it for them. Guess what? Shh, don't tell them. I'm doing all the maintenance for you, because the tools that we give you with MinuteLaunch have all of the plugins, all the software automatically updated, or you can do it. Either way, the client doesn't have to worry about it. Plus, it's rock solid secure, because we use rocket.net for the hosting, plus their CDN from Cloudflare. Content creation, this is that second part I was telling you guys about. Instead of writing plugins, you know what I'm finding, and everyone's finding, that their customers actually are happy to pay them for just doing the mundane stuff, like do some research on an article about this, that, or the other thing, right? Like, I don't have to bore you, but you could use your Claude or Cursor in the MinuteLaunch connection and say, take this thing I gave you, like the newsletter, and research this water or publishing company or this client that has trucks, and make a version of that would be interesting to new customers, and create a form for them to submit their email. Like, literally, watch. Hey, let's do something really fun. Even though you don't know my full style, take the style and the color palette from MinuteLaunch.com. Make a single panel website that's a lead magnet that says, hey, Spence would like to show you how to make more money. Give your email here. that email should be submitted and it will end up going into Fluent CRM and saved. Alternatively, you can save it as a user if we want. Make real quick an HTML5 example of this with CSS that I can paste to show folks how clever you can be. If you want, you can also throw in that James Bond picture just because I like it. Okay. The idea is when you get good at just basic prompting and you have access to all of the skills that I provide you, guess what? You are a freaking machine of doing stuff that they're otherwise having to pay outsourcers, insourcers, professionals to do. And I know for a fact that these are low numbers. I have one or two clients right now that spend $10,000 to $20,000 a month with air quote marketing companies to do this stuff. It's all included. It's included. You do it, they do it. I will do it for you. If you want, I'm taking on clients who are like, you know what, Spence? I'll just send the client your way and you do it. How much does it cost? Well, guess where we go for that? We go right here. I can do it a la carte. Most of those jobs I just showed you could be just an hour of time, $300. But what I really prefer is for people to take on a managed MinuteLaunch account, $12.97 a month. What does that include? Besides all the technology and the support, usually around up to 5 hours of actual, interaction or the value of it. Usually what I say is that includes up to 4 emails and 1 newsletter per month. So let's say you get a client, you charge them $2,500 a month. You keep $1,250. Give me the $12.97. We both make money. You look like a genius. You don't have to do anything other than send the client's work to me in an email, and I'll have one of my guys be officially assigned to the task full time to become the expert for your client. So whether you do it yourself, you produce it yourself with the simple tools, whether the client works with the tool, whether you send it to me, it still kicks butt over doing it the traditional way. $2,700 to $8,600 a month. Do the math. Okay. 80. No, but there's big companies do this, but let's say 2,500 times 12, it's 30 grand. Okay. 10,000, which a lot of people are paying. I know one company right now doing 120,000 to have some 25-year-old pretend like they can do a better job than Claude or Cursor. Not going to happen. Time savings. This is the one that kicked my ass in a good way. Claude, Fernando's cousin, or Bernardo. I'm going to switch now. I'm going into Bernardo mode just to share with you because it's not fair to keep him hidden. Let me switch the screen. Sorry. StreamYard is awesome, but this is the one thing I hate about StreamYard right now is that I have to do this weird chicken dance. I can't even do it while he's in the smaller screen. I have to do it like this. Sorry, kids. Sorry, kids. I'm going to switch to stop screen, share the whole screen, and nothing but the screen. Okay. You'll see a quick little, there I was. Okay. I'm going to set this up so you can see the whole thing better by doing this little split panel. I would like to introduce you guys again to who's working on this. Where is Bernardo? Bernardo, come clean. Bernardo is YT. There he is. Hi, Bernardo. Bernardo is set up for all of my content production and schedule. You will notice that I have got him working. This was today's stuff that he produced. But I can say, Bernardo, say hi to everybody. You're live on the show. Don't be embarrassed. Wave to everybody. Okay. This guy knows everything he needs to know to run my show. I still have his primo, which is Fernando, but he's like, hi, everybody. Great to be on the show. I hope you're all enjoying a cost comparison presentation. We just added that James Bond edition image to the top. He knows the deal, right? Now, he, by the way, gave me that thing. Let's see what he produced for me. So notice I have here, I can just take this and manually, like I've been showing you, just copy paste it. This was the page we're working on. Just Spence can do it. He can do it because he's connected, but it's just faster for me just to go, okay, I'll tell you what, paste, done. I mean, I got to have something to do. And he says he put the James Bond in there. Maybe this is the earlier version. Let's see. I'm going to say, can you do me a favor? Give me the link again to the updated one with the James Bond image in it. So if I'm not sure of something, and I got him zoomed in a little, that's why I can't see all of his sidebar stuff. He can just give me the image. Okay, so it's right here. It's the 1142 HTML. And I just need to, let me bring him out a little bit. That's the problem. The problem is cursor. It's not him. See, it's here. I just can't see it. Okay. So I'm going to take that and I'll stretch this over. This is why I use the Windows tool for this. It's actually pretty good. Okay. Save, update. Once it saves, hold on. I'm going to ask him where the James Bond image is. I don't see the James Bond images. Maybe I just clear the cache. Dude, where's that James Bond image? I don't see it. Is it supposed to be at the top of the page? I use this. And I'll just show him what I used in case there's a confusion, because maybe I'm using the wrong file. When he publishes himself, it's no big deal because it's like he's got me covered. He says right at the top. Well, maybe I'm not seeing it. So that's fine. It could be that I'm not seeing it. I'll tell you what, make me a new HTML and I'll just share that with everybody. Make me something cool and clever with MinuteLaunch style that I can show you can use with that James Bond image, okay? Now, as far as the calendar is concerned, there's an agentic mode in Cursor, which I like, that lets me have different agents for different stuff, right? And so I, in the past, have every day had him say, what is it that we're doing today? And I have a different agent who's running that show. I can also have different windows or workspaces, which is what I tend to do also for the different things that I'm working on. Like this morning, when I updated the entire system, I have one that's called ML Clients. The ML Clients is this bad boy here, and he's in charge of managing all of your websites for you when I'm not here. So let me see, ML plugin, there's ML Clients. So ML Clients is a little zoomed in, and he's got some technical doodads there, but you'll notice essentially he was doing some technical stuff to, I don't want to show the passwords and stuff, but updating sites. Bernardo is what I use for the specialty of doing content, right? So here he's just giving me a new thing, and I'll do it on a new page. So I'll go new page. And again, using the MinuteLaunch canvas block, I think is the best way to do it, right? So new page, new bond panel. And I just type ML, paste. I'll set this up. I'll leave the header. Well, I'll show you. I'll hide the header and footer. Publish. Let's see what he built for us. Now, I can connect him with the MCP, but like I say, if I do that, he can edit stuff. All I need to do is go into his tools, and I don't want to do this necessarily now because it shows my passwords, but he can connect through the MinuteLaunch MCP and just do the same thing we just published. I think this is what he was trying to show me he had done. Maybe the caching didn't work. All right, let's go back and carry on with the cost comparisons because he is awesome. Oh, and watch this. I'll be like, hey, by the way, since it's Friday, tomorrow is going to be the roundup. Can you list out what are the 5 pieces of content you're going to set up for me for tomorrow's newsletter? He knows he's in charge. I mean, I know he's in charge. He knows he's in charge, but I don't have to do this stuff. I can have him overnight do this. He's looking at all the stuff we published. He's making all the links, checking them twice. He's got all the thumbnails. All that busy work goes away, right? That's the essential benefit here. I'm going to do this here. Lightning fast, AI powered, precision targeting, secure hosting. These are just catchwords, but hours saved. I would definitely say this is accurate because I don't know how long it takes you to write as a human being a blog post, but I've been doing things for a long time. I type 300 words a minute. I swear to God. I could talk, I think it's 600 words a minute. But the point is, I can tell him, like I just showed this guy, I can just say, here's concepts. go make cool stuff. Like this guy just went out and made a lead magnet for me with a form that intakes a new user for a client. If I went ahead and made this, I can have it change the colors, change the style, change the copy. I can do that infinitely. And it doesn't bother me a bit because the tool is doing it for me, and the tool can even publish. Example, client lead magnet. If I do this methodology, it really is encouraging. I love just saying to the client, hey, let's talk about this. What do you want to change? And you know what I then do? I go to the video from Fathom because I've got a connector, by the way, inside of MinuteLaunch that pulls in with Fathom the actual content of the conversation. This was from this morning's 10:20. This is this morning's emergency meeting. Literally. I don't think I'm outing Fred here. This is all of the details of this. Oh, this is from another day. This is Alyssa meeting, but all of the details of the meeting are here. So he can even take the details of me talking to a client, and then I ask him to summarize it and use it to build new stuff with. This is how really useful this is as a system. So if I go to this new client lead magnet, let's see what we got. And again, the image not working, but that's okay because easily fixed, right? And I'm going to say, hey, I know we don't have a relationship yet, but can you put that James Bond image in the circle for me with the live URL I gave you a moment ago? So the concept is if he makes a mistake or I don't like the look of it or I have changed it, even the regular browser Claude, I'm going to close a few windows, can improve and do some cool stuff. I'm going to delete that. Just cleaning up Marie Kondo style, cleaning up that, cleaning up that, cleaning up that, cleaning up that. So he can just take this whole thing, updates the HTML. I just simply copy it. And again, it's not that much work. If I just go here, paste it, and now it's saved into the site. So if he gets it right, I tell him he gets it right. If he gets it wrong, I'm like, dude, fix this stuff, right? It's not that hard to fix. So one of the things I can see here is this could be a caching issue, or it could be just he doesn't have the image right. So what I might do, because I know better, is I might just inspect it to save myself trouble. And I'm looking here at this image, and let's just see what the image goes to, if anything, because I can tell him what's wrong. I can see what's wrong already. He's just referring to some rando image that doesn't exist. So instead, all I need to do is I know that I uploaded it here. Let me just give him the right image. Sometimes, this is an example I talked about this morning with Fred, sometimes easier if you just help the tool out, right? This is the image, okay? Because otherwise maybe you didn't understand or whatever. And again, here's another cool thing too. Even though I don't have to be a coder, I can go in and find the image. My God, all I need to do is search for JPEG, right? Or PNG. If I type .jpg or .png, ta-da, there's the image. All I got to do is just paste that image. It's not like rocket science exactly. And there we go. Obviously, I might want to use a better image. Now, what's neat about this is a web app. So if I were to take this in, this would actually take it in, and through the API connection, which REST API exists with Fluent CRM, REST API, I've got tools that allow just a web page to send to what they call a destination endpoint, the information about any page that has got a form on it. Guess what we don't need? We don't need to set up Fluent forms. Not that we wouldn't have a reason to, or not that that couldn't be helpful for the future, but I'm simply saying we quite literally can do this in such a way that it immediately sends it without anything extra other than just what I pasted. And by the way, for those who are wondering, like, let's do a little old school CSS, right? If I looked at this image, I could tweak it, position, absolute fixed relative scale. I could do, left, right. There's other things that can be done, position left. You don't have to do this. I would do something like margin. I forget now it's interesting. Margin right. My CSS skills are a little rusty, but I can move this bad boy around. I can move the image position around. There's lots of stuff that I could do. But I would probably just tell him, hey, can you move the image over, put the guy in the middle, and that would be good enough. Okay, back to this, what's left of my voice. I think we kind of covered that, covered this, covered that. All right, let's talk, because we're at the top of the hour. Let's talk about what's coming next. What is coming next is, for everybody on board, better MCP connection, better skills. When you right now have your guy or your thing or your girl or whatever it is working for you, the first thing that you're going to do, and this is where my real value is, you can just give them the AI showcase at the top of MinuteLaunch. And not saying that's perfect, but watch, I'm going to say, hey, Bernardo, have a look at this URL and index real quick what you find, because I bet there's an interesting skill there for you. Now, if you say this to your cursor or Claude, they can go to this public website where I've got all these really interesting, detailed user instructions. Think of it like you're hiring an employee from Spence's virtual agency, and I've got the training manuals for every crazy cool thing that ever could be or should be built. Now, why is that useful? It's because anything you want to have done that we've already done before, your tool can immediately know how to use based upon this kind of stuff, right? So if I said to him, hey, Bernardo, is there something in there that shows you, for example, how to create a page that has some old-fashioned, what do you call those things? Polaroid pictures. I did a page in there that was called something about my Schwinn bike, and it had 3 images on it. Can you make an example of that with some other images and show that you can actually acquire that skill instantly? So basically what I'm saying is like, oh, Spence said there was this cool thing we did for a client. It was a multifaceted web app. It was like an intake form, a lead magnet or whatever. It was not, that was a doc. That's not it. Dr. Mash. The Dr. Mash page is cool. No, this was something like, it's something to do with Schwinn bikes or memories. I don't remember it, but look through those. And it had 3 Polaroid pictures on it, and they were Schwinn Stingray bikes. By telling him there's a skill in the user manual, go look at it, I want to do that, he can just scroll through like he's doing now, if you can read it, find the skill, and go, oh, I got this covered, right? He's having a little bit of conniption. It's on the MinuteLaunch.com/AI showcase page. I'm going to help him out too, because again, he didn't index this officially, which would make it easier because he's just going by titles. And the truth is, you know what? I'm not being fair to him, because the truth is I gave him an impossible task because that page isn't actually indexed. So let me throw him a bone. Hold on. Oh, we found it anyway. Hold on. I wasn't fair to you. I didn't actually have that indexed. I'm going to give you the page here. There was other things that I still have to index. So sorry, kids. This was called Letters from the Past. So watch. Here you go. Sorry, Bernardo. Here's the page I mean. Can you remake this page, use different images, instead of Schwinn bakes, make it into, I don't know, some other 1970s kind of thing the kids were into, and change the look and feel to show people how easily you can do it. What did I do in the 70s besides that? I mean, so many things. Do it metal, slides, and playground equipment. We survived. All right, I'm coming around the corner with this, but the idea is skill is a page or a thing. Now, I didn't actually tell him the skill here. There's no skill on this. This is just an outcome, but he's able to emulate because he can see what's here, and he has the tools if he wants to go out and get new images or change the images and so forth. And I can be more specific, but even if I just let him go loose, he can figure it out himself. He'll go to Unsplash. He'll use the image search tool. He can use the AI generator. You could tell him to go to the client site and only use images from the client. Let's see what he comes up with. And what I'll do, again, manually, is I'll just do it as a new page, but he can clearly publish on his own if we want him to. So I'm just going to make a new page. He's given it this. And I'm going to copy and paste it. Again, using MinuteLaunch Canvas, which is super fun and easy. New 70s page. And I'll set this up the same way. So it's just basically the block takes over the whole page. I'll call it that new 70s page, just for cliche. And here we go. Letters from the past. So somehow his metal slide image didn't work, but he's got Summer 74, the spinner. Dear friend, remember when playgrounds were made of metal, not the soft padded safety approved? Okay, now watch. I'll just tell him a little tweak. Love, love, love what you did there. The slide picture doesn't work. The other pictures are cool. Can you find an actual picture that works of the slide from your Pexels or use your search tool? And just put that one image at the top. I love the letter though. Don't change that at all. Okay, so you can just use words instead of your mouse. Notice what I've not done at all today. Not one single time, with the exception of putting the MinuteLaunch Canvas block in, did I ever touch any of those janky human tools that we've become so indebted to. I want to use lots of words. I'm going to say indebted to. Those tools of, oh, let me spend the next 45 minutes moving levers inside of ACF Pro or Cadence, or let me fight Syed Balki's ads in the dashboard for, I put opt-in monster in. And even when it comes to doing things like complex web applications, like I showed you the brand new Launchify sales tool. That is just all we need anymore, okay? So let's see here. What did he say? He said, the letter, perfect. I've updated the Polaroid picture. And I'm going to just grab the new HTML. And this, my friends, is the whole point of it. Whether you do it for yourself, you do it for clients, the outcome of just editorial is really enough. I know you guys want to build plugins, and you can. I know that I'll be showing you how to build plugins, but when you wait for me to give you the skills that you're going to need, that is going to make it easier. Why? Because the skills will be bulletproof for this is how to make this and that and the other outcome. I just don't think that we're there yet because I needed to build some better tools. I needed to make some other things. I'm not sure if you updated the URL, the HTML. Can you do this fresh and give to me again? I think I'm copying the wrong stuff because I'm in this like zoomed in mode. So here's today's presentation. Here's James Bond. I think like somehow I'm getting the wrong stuff. So let's see. He's doing vintage playground memories. Yeah. See, I was copying the wrong stuff. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so the takeaway from today is when it comes to making money, whether you do it for your own business, you do it for your own sanity and time savings, you do it as an implementer professionally, you turn the client loose. Like many of us have clients that are perfectly capable of not necessarily using Cursor, but using Claude. Super awesome. No problem. Why is he calling? There we go. I'm going to save and publish. And in doing so, your client, for example, refer them over to me. The basic platform, $197 a month, you make $40. Still, I'm just looking at the wrong thing. I'm clearly looking at the wrong thing. If you actually do the work, double it. Just don't charge them $197. Charge them double that. If you want to do real work, charge them even more. Doesn't make a difference. The client only cares about the outcome. Hold on. Now I'm in fascinated what is wrong with me mode. So I'm going to make a new page and see whether or not this may be just the cache, because I have not been doing one thing. See this button here, clear cache? I've not been hitting that, and I have a feeling that's what's going on. So my bad. Let's just try this. Newest 70s page. I bet you this will do it the first try. As time goes on, besides the editorial tasks and the output of things that are skills ready to use, I am going to be bringing you from real life people on the show the success stories of what they've been building. We have a few people that are often here regularly who can attest to what it is they're doing and why. Hold on, I'm obsessed now. Okay, I'm totally obsessed with, I'm having trouble because either I'm copying and pasting wrong or something. Make this fresh, only one image. Make it a slide, make a new image, get a new image, totally fresh. Keep the letter the same, but a brand new image, and give me a brand new file, please. Thank you, my friend. See, this is also another issue. I am a human. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm going to close a bunch of this stuff. I'm probably either not being good with my instructions, not being patient, not waiting for it to come from space, like Louis C.K. used to joke around. But either way, I'm just going to take a deep breath. Serenity now. I'm going to make a new page, and we'll close on a high note. Okay. Now, when I click review, I say keep all. I say copy. See, that's office hours. That is absolutely not it. So I know it's me here. I'm going to try this again. Playground slide memories. There we go. Control copy. Slide memories. Canvas block. And by the way, if you don't want to use the canvas block, you can also use the HTML block, which will be fine. But if you do that, you don't get the control over the layout, right? You don't get the control over the other things, and you won't have something that can be talked to directly. I mean, I do think they talk to the HTML block, but not as reliably as if you're using the canvas block. So I'm suggesting you use the canvas block. Crossing fingers for a strong end to today's show. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay. And so what I do is I say, here's what the last thing is. Praise, save as a skill and a memory. Bernardo, you rock, brother. You did it. All right. It's not a slide. It's a picture of, I don't know what the hell it is, a cup. But I like that you figured out what I was asking for and gave it back to me. Save a memory of what I'm asking for as a skill on how to make an oldie-timey letter with a Polaroid picture. Call it letter with picture. And make a skill document so that I can also post it for other people's MCPs in MinuteLaunch. Thanks. And also you can use your auto memory. I'm just telling him, look, you're such a good boy. You did a good job. Save this as a skill so you know about it. Make a memory of this, but give me something that I can publish for everybody else to share, which will be part of the archive of stuff. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I want to say thanks to all you guys that stuck around for today. This weekend, I'm improving the MCP connections, the systems, the tools, but I'm also going to be, I hope, crossing fingers, coming out with our first set of real live clients that are big paying clients. So I've had meetings with agency owners and clients and customers, and this editorial delivery is just killing it over even the complex stuff. Because even for the clients for whom I'm proposing all these complex solutions, what they really know for sure, is, man, I got a list and I'm doing nothing with it. Man, I got a blog, I'm doing nothing with it. Man, I'm doing no social network stuff. Man, I've got a YouTube channel, I got nothing. All those things I showed you are just immediate wins. And oh, by the way, I'm paying for Salesforce or HubSpot or some God knows expensive thing, and I'm doing nothing with it. And when you say, look, I could save you $18,000 a year on your HubSpot, I can manage this for you. I can do the research, make the content, do the newsletters. All you're doing is exactly what I showed you here with this tool, and then using your Clutter cursor, sharing the skill documents that are part of your membership here. So instantly, stuff that wins for other clients you have access to, and you can either have them do it and they pay the basic and you just take, I do nothing, and you do nothing and take $40 a month per client, $480 a year. Be in the middle and do little bits of stuff, send it to me. I'll do it all and you double the price or something else. Any of these are awesome because I have right now about 36 agents working for me doing everything from coding to marketing. And I can take on thousands of new clients right now. And that is the goal, building out the systems. Also, I appreciate you guys for all your patience. I'm really excited. I love you all for being here with me and helping me on this journey. And hopefully you will equally win. So until then, suspense. See you later.